Okay, good morning everybody, and thank you for the large number of people coming here. My name is Katrin. I'm from a different part of the world than Laili. I'm from Europe, Austria, and I would like to take a couple of minutes to introduce our network, Women Exchange for Disaster Risk Reduction. So, who are we? We are a European network. We are about 70 female experts. And the Secretariat is basically me and a few colleagues at the Austrian Federal Ministry of Agriculture. And we are strongly supported also by University of Natural Resources and Life Sciences in Vienna. And I want to take a couple of minutes to walk you through the following structure of a network, the objectives, the outputs, how you actually can become a member or can cooperate with us, and communication. We founded the network last year. We thought after Sendai, now it's really time to do something. And we gathered 40 female experts to take 3 days to really discuss what this network should be, what the objectives of the network are, and how we want to communicate, and so on. So to have a broad ownership among all our members. Okay, coming to the structure of a network. The center, of course, are our members. And we really want to engage all our members in the activities. But we also thought we need a steering committee. So we have a steering committee which caters all the different fields of our women. We have women from prevention, recovery. We have women from government, from research area, and women from consultancy firms, women from NGOs. So it's really a broad variety, and this is also mirrored in the steering committee. Then we have the Secretariat. Somebody needs to do all the coordination work. And there we also do all the communication, and we strongly work together with 3 working groups. So within our foundation, we came to the conclusion we need working groups to implement our work. We have 1 working group on communication, 1 on education, and 1 on research and data. And I come back to that a bit later on what these groups actually produce. Sorry? So what are the objectives? There are many objectives, and I think I can group them to 2 main objectives. As we heard before, it's important to have women also in leadership role in disaster risk reduction. And we really want to sensitize also that women and men are affected differently by natural hazards. And we want to get more women involved, and we do that also by supporting female experts in the field, by networking, communication, exchange of information and knowledge. So what are our outputs? We defined a few outputs. We have a database on DRR and gender. We want to produce materials for awareness raising. We want to do really focused knowledge transfer and knowledge exchange on gender and disaster risk reduction. And we're not, of course, we are a network of women, but we also want to make events and workshops for men, of course, for everybody. So the concerned public, let's say, where we want to raise awareness for the topic itself. And then for our female experts, we want to train, or we want to help them train with different skill development workshops. We want to establish kind of a mentoring program, and also, of course, the network itself. The membership, how can you become a member? You write an email to our email address. It's contact@we4DRR.net. And you get a questionnaire to be filled out. This is because we want to know a bit more on who our members are. From that questionnaire, I can tell you, for example, that at the moment we have around 50% of members from Austria. But we also have 25% of members from Switzerland at the moment, and Germany, Serbia, and then a few other from Ukraine, the Netherlands, and Estonia. And we hope to grow further and diversify further in Europe. But I can also tell you that we have about a quarter of our members from university. We have a lot of members from the federal administration, consultancy. I also told you about private sector, applied sciences. Then we have a few freelancers and volunteers. Communication, how do we communicate? We have a newsletter that we send out more or less regularly. We always wait until we have a few things together. Our members are sending the items to us, and we present it in a very short bullet point way, and if you're interested further, you can click and you get the information. Then we have a website. At the website you can read who we are, what we do. We have a member presentation where every 2 months one of our members is presented in more detail, of course only if they want to. We have an event calendar and all the news on the network. And then the database, as I mentioned before, there was already a risk and technology platform database in place. And adding to all the hazards that were mentioned before, we managed to insert a button on gender and DRR. So we have a section now on gender and DRR, and they are our members, and especially the group on research and data is integrating further information on the topic from all over the world, but especially we try to focus on information also in Europe because there is not a lot of information available there. And then we have our General Assembly. So once a year we meet. This General Assembly is also organized along our 2 main objectives, I would say. We have a part where we discuss content, where we have keynote speakers, where we have an excursion to look at some DRR measures. But then we also always have a workshop for skill development for our members. And as I mentioned before, events, workshops, and then we also have a section we thought is very important where we have informal networking. So whenever there is a conference or another event where a few members are going, we try to organize something in the evening so you really have the opportunity to exchange. Okay, and a short throwback to the General Assembly 2017. It was just a few weeks ago, and it was also somehow our first anniversary. We were invited to Italy, and we had a field visit to the emergency unit of Trento, and also to a very nice exhibition on the floods from 1966. We had a tailored skill development workshop, so it was actually possible for our members to write the trainer beforehand on what they would specifically need, and so we could tailor the workshop to the needs of our members. And we had 2 very interesting keynotes by Susan Cutter and Barbara Poggio, and we are about 40 members there, so half of our members were there, which is quite a good number for us. Okay, and now our cooperation, and this is where all of you come in. Do you want to join us? I already mentioned, you just write us an email to contact@we4DRR.net. Do you have any ideas? Do you have any contributions? Do you want to share something via our newsletter? Always the same contact. Do you see any opportunities for cooperation? Maybe you also have a network or something similar. And do you want to discuss in depth on either our network or gender and disaster risk reduction? We are there. I'm here also today and tomorrow, so please feel free and come up, contact me. And for everybody who's interested, I know it's a paper-free conference, but I have a few. I have a few flyers you can take home and share with your colleagues. And thank you very much for your interest.